Popcorn and Pictures podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Popcorn and Pictures with your host, Sam Karpinski, and your co-host, Jose Mendoza.
Woo! Hello. Welcome back.
As you can see, Jose's excited to talk about movies in the new year.
One particular movie.
Turn back the clock a little bit, talk about some movies from last year, just because, there's been not really any good movies this year so far. It's early. I hear Primate is taking the world by storm, so you never know.
We're about a weekend, so not a whole lot of movies came out within 12 days. So we're about 2 weeks. About Primate, I don't know anything about that movie. I just seen kind of posters. Have you ever seen Nope? Jordan Peele?
I have seen Nope.
It feels like someone saw that one scene and we can make a whole movie out of that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've read. Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently they have. And from what I hear, if you're into that sort of thing, fairly successful.
Yeah. Probably one of the best scenes in that movie, honestly. But we're not here to talk about Nope. We're here to talk about...
Nope is just years ago. That's old news. What are we here to talk about, Jose?
We're here to talk about movies, specifically Surpeme movies. What movie might that be? I say Marty Surpeme.
Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Oh, yeah, that's true. This is the Surpeme episode. We're saving that one for last, best for last. What'd you think about Marty Surpeme?
I loved it. It was, in short, one of the most epic movies of 2025. Even though it's not like, say, a traditional epic, it's not like there were a bunch of action sequences or anything, but the way the film was shot, the way the script was written, it made it feel like everything that was happening in that character's world had enormous stakes. And due to the, without spoiling too much, the way the story progresses just feels like a very epic pace.
Yeah, sure. When you said epic, that was a curveball for me, but I could kind of see this being epic, at least for the Safdie brothers standards, because they're traveling all over the world, or not all over the world, but going to Japan. It's their first. I was gonna say the first period piece, but Uncut Gems is technically a period piece. But this is their first movie where they're going back decades to tell a story. Yeah, you saw it twice. Anything that you want to report on your second viewing that you might have missed on the first time?
No, just want to say that that title sequence really hits home each time.
Yeah. I noticed there's a pattern here. And I'm saying pattern. The pattern I was applying to was, if you remember Uncut Gems, I don't know if it's the opening title sequence or if it's just I think it's the opening title sequence, but you zoom into the opal and you see this kind of I guess, the bigger universe, and then you zoom back out and you're in Adam Sandler's ass during his colonoscopy. This movie starts off the same way, but this time it's I don't want to sound vulgar, but it's literally sperm cells traveling inside the urethra to the egg cell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 10 out of 10.
Very graphic.
That's the movie report.
Very graphic. It's completely unnecessary, gratuitous. Really took me out of it. Lowered the movie at least a half star.
Is that why?
Me. No.
Okay, I thought you were serious.
I love that. No, that was great. I mean, honestly, the only thing I felt like some of the sexual content was gratuitous. Not all, some of it. But that's really the only thing that kept me from rating it higher. But it's still a 9 of 10.
Yeah.
Easy.
The other pattern I was implying was actually a critique that my brother had when we saw it together, all of us, was that the Safdie brothers, not so much Benny Safdie, who made Smashing Machine earlier this year, but I guess Josh Safdie, the movies he makes is always kind of about a scumbag trying to make as much money in a short period of time as possible. And I could see that kind of being a one-trick pony critique. But honestly, I'm if he's doing it and it works so well as he's been doing the last 3 times, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think even though there's that thematic through line through most of his work, I feel like he changes it up just enough and has a little bit something different to say in terms of the angle he plays it at for each one. And like this one in particular, I felt like the angle was a little bit more hopeful. I don't know if that's the right word, but just a little bit more positive. And it was like, okay, the character actually grew at the end of
Yeah,
it,
sure,
you know?
sure.
Um,
Um,
you know, so
yeah, like Uncut Gems is kind of about a gambling addiction. I don't really know. I've seen it like 3 times, but I can't really put a theme with a Good Time. That's just exploring the idea of like making as much money as you can in a short period of time. Like that's all what that movie's about. Marty Supreme is kind of this greater pursuit for success, maybe glory. Um,
yeah.
and in return, he's just hurting a lot of people in his life pursuing this goal of his.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a I mean the movie's theme is primarily about ambition and the lengths your
Hmm.
go driven by ambition to fulfill, in that case, what that character sees as his purpose in life,
Yeah.
which is ambitious.
And it's funny because it's the launching point is about do I like launching point if that's the right way of saying it. Like it's ping pong. It's a movie about ping pong, but not really. It markets itself as a ping pong movie, and for the
It's
first
no, 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 no. It's referred to as table tennis, Jose.
oh yeah
Come
sure
on,
table
get it
tennis.
right. Be accurate.
So,
Don't mislead the viewers.
sorry, I'm not huge into sports, so I don't know what the jargon is, But table tennis, yeah, it uses that in its marketing, and for a very long time, I was put off by the movie because I was wondering how could they make table tennis exciting. I didn't even think a Safdie brother could make it exciting. And for the first 20 minutes, it kind of reveals itself to maybe be an actual sports movie. But then for the rest of the runtime, it's absolutely not that. It's like I said, quite literally like a uncut gems, distant relative. But when I was talking to my brother about the comparisons of this and Smash Machine, which is like another sports movie about ultimate fighting, the sport element in Marty Supreme, I thought was much more exciting and a lot more engaging than that in all of Smash Machine.
I
So
agree.
I,
One
yeah,
100%. Like you actually were kind of on the edge of your seat
yeah,
with the sequence, some of the sequences in Marty Supreme. Like
yeah,
I personally felt like I was particularly invested, in the final match. Beyond just the aspect of like him wanting to fulfill his purpose, but also just like, okay, he's kind of the underdog in this
hmm,
scenario now, and it's like, just as a sports fan myself, you almost always like to see the underdog succeed,
yeah,
from a
sure.
competitive standpoint. So I do think,
And
well,
go
finish your
ahead.
point. No,
No,
finish your point.
I was just gonna say like the whole movie, if it was about that, if it was that same quality and energy that the first 20 minutes had, if it was just a sports movie about table tennis, I think it still would have, been phenomenal.
It would have been
But
an
we didn't get that,
entertaining movie
obviously.
for sure.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. I was gonna say it kind of reminds me of. I think you could qualify it as a sports movie, and I think it reminds me of movies like the ones that come to mind just off the top of my head. There's countless more that the names escape me, but Field of Dreams, Chariots of Fire, all films that revolve very specific aspects of the sport that's portrayed on screen, but they're both not really about the sport, in a
Hmm.
way. The sport is just kind of a backdrop for larger themes, and of the character dynamics and basically fuel for the character development in the script.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Uh,
I think
yeah, I
you
thought,
I think you said it best. It's the greatest ping pong movie ever made, or table
and it's
tennis movie ever made.
and it's funny because it's barely about table tennis.
It's true.
Um,
There's not
one
many
thing,
table tennis movies out there, alas.
No,
Who
unfortunately.
knows?
Well,
Maybe we're getting a wave now of table tennis movies. Maybe Marty Supreme is kicking it off, and we're going to have a rush of table tennis movies. Kind of like we
mhm.
saw a rush of music biopics after Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, or monkey movies like with Nope.
It's
Apparently,
true.
yeah.
There's not many monkey movies after Nope.
No, no. Um, One thing I wanted to say that was kind of funny, not so much like a critique or anything, but it's just like a side comment. I think it's really funny that the Safdie brothers kind of shtick is casting famous people who are not actors. So in this movie, we had, Tyler the Creator. He was Marty's best friend, who's also a table tennis athlete.
Yeah, he was great.
Funny, he was in it for a short time, which is funny because in the marketing they really kind of pitch him as like one of the main characters. I'm sure just to get butts in the seat. Kevin O'Leary, who is on Shark Tank, never had, as far as I know, any other acting
No,
credits.
he was good too. I mean,
He
he's
was really
basically
good
just playing a version of himself, but it was
himself.
still
Yep.
good. And he
Yeah.
didn't. You always wonder, right? Like even if that's the case, it's like, are you getting? Is that going to kind of take you out of it? And I never felt
And
taken
no,
out of it.
no,
Yeah.
he really sold the role.
So credit
Uh,
to Safdie for thinking outside
mhm.
the box there.
Yeah. Obviously, like in Uncut Gems, we had Kevin Garnett and The Weeknd in it. What's funny is after we saw the movie, I was doom scrolling on Instagram or whatever, and funny enough, there's a side character in the movie too who I recognize his face, but I couldn't put my finger on it until I saw the reel. And do you know about the homeless man who had the golden voice? Do you know what I'm talking about?
That sounds familiar, but I can't place it.
So there's a video of like presumably some guy just filming a homeless man who has like this fantastic voice, and I guess for a while he was hired to do narration for like commercials and stuff. He's in this movie for a little bit. He is there's like a ping pong club or something, and he's at the, I guess,
Oh
reception desk.
yeah. I think I know. It's he's kind of got a slender face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can tell like his teeth are a little messed up. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah, for
from
sure. He's
his
kind of like it's almost kind of I don't know. He's kind of like the clerk or something at the
yeah,
front for
exactly. Which is really
the
funny
ping pong
because
room. Yeah,
yeah, he's like in this movie. I thought that was funny. I didn't know. I recognize his face, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
yeah.
Um,
So right,
yeah.
just goes to
Uh,
show you if you want to get into this Safdie brothers movie, you either got to be a billionaire on Shark Tank or a homeless man with a good voice.
yeah. Or a musician or a basketball athlete.
Yeah, yeah,
Easy,
yeah.
easy,
Easy,
easy.
easy,
Yeah.
easy peasy. So what's your final rating? Because we have some other movies. You got anything more to say on it, or you want to give a final rating?
uh, I mean, it's fantastic. Timothy Chalamet, despite me liking him a lot in a lot of movies, uh, specifically Dune Part Two, I thought he was fantastic in when he's just going batshit crazy at the end of that movie.
Hmm.
Call Me by Your Name was, if I remember, the first movie that kind of made me recognize him as a just an actor who is today like an A-lister.
Yeah,
Uh, I think this might be his best movie. Obviously, we're in like award season, so he's in talks about
yeah,
maybe winning the best actor, and I think he actually might do it this time.
yeah. And honestly,
Yeah.
so far this year, there's been some good performances, but in terms of the leading man, I think he definitely is the one, and definitely feels like. I mean, he's very well known to be very like into his character. During
Mhm.
like not just the filming of the movie itself, but the promotion of it, and like really kind of pumping himself up. But unlike some people, he has the goods to back it up. So
Mhm. Yeah.
it definitely feels this year might be his year for sure.
Yeah.
But you never
Which
know.
is
Somebody
which
may
is really
come around.
sorry, I keep interrupting. Which is really refreshing because after last year's Complete Unknown, which I really disliked, yeah, this is yeah, made me change my change maybe made me change my mind about him. So
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't the problem with a complete
no,
unknown. The problem with
it's
a
true.
complete unknown was just the script. So
Hmm.
yeah, you know.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say? Because I'm down to say my rating.
No, I I think we covered it.
Cool. 9 out of 10 for me. Might be a 10 out of 10. I do have to rewatch it, of course, but no, it
What's
was a
holding
solid.
it? What's holding it back from 10 of 10?
That's what I'm thinking. I guess for me, it's like Good Time for me is his best movie. Granted, that's like a duo movie, but it didn't quite reach the level that the reaction I got out of Uncut Gems. There was points in the movie that kind of got me a little bored. It was specifically towards the end when I'll be honest. You kind of hyped up the climax for this movie. I thought that was kind of the weakest part about the movie. I know. I see your face.
Wait. I hyped up the climax.
You kind of mentioned. You might have mentioned. You said
I
something. along the
hadn't
lines how
seen.
it was.
How could I have hyped it when I hadn't seen it?
No, I mean like right now, like literally like moments ago, like today.
Oh,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, then I stand by it. It's a great climax
I don't know. Maybe it's a
and a
result of
great
it being,
conclusion.
maybe it's a result of it being a little too long. Maybe that's also where I'm kind of
I think it's
kind of,
pretty well paced. I think there's some stuff you could have cut, but not much.
yeah. I was a little antsy, but to be honest, I did have to pee really bad. If you remember that, I like was holding it
Sure.
in for 2
Yeah.
hours. So
It very much tainted Jose's experience.
yeah.
Mhm.
My last comment.
Pro
that I
tip,
mentioned my-
folks. Pro tip, folks. Don't ingest a ton of beer before
That's
you
true.
watch Marty Supreme, or you may not allow the full impact of the conclusion to hit you.
True. I know we have to wrap it up, but my last comment, I promise, is I remember I had to pee really bad, and I thought maybe I could just go as fast as I can, come back, and not miss anything. But it's one of those movies where, not quite literally, but if you blink, you're going to miss something, So that's why I
It's
held
true.
it in for 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're a better man for it. Your bladder,
Oh,
not so much, but
No.
you as a man, better for it. So, yeah, so 9 of 10, and I'm the same way, 9 of 10. So
Cool.
look at that, we agree.
Yes. This next
So-
movie,
Yeah,
people, we might have to cut it short because I feel like Sam and I might, we might throw some
my
fists
butt
in.
heads might
Yeah.
get mad. Will we?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we're
I don't
actually that far apart, but we'll see. So we're going to be talking about Hamnet, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, Hamnet. So
We're talking about Avatar. That's a 10 out of 10 movie. I know you hated it. I loved it. No, we're talking about
we'll
Hamnet.
get to Fire and Ash at some point, but yeah, Hamnet. Yeah, I mean, I'll kick it off. I overall like the movie. I think it takes its biggest sin is it takes a while to kind of get going and reach kind of the themes of the movie, the thematic bone, or thematic meat on the bone rather, in the story. It's very well done, very well acted. Chloe Zhao, broke free of Marvel and shook off the dirt of Eternals off her back, and proved her filmmaking skills again. My main issue with the movie, yes, it just takes a while to get going. Like the ending, like feels, it hits you. At least it did me with the feels, but it's just like I feel like we could have trimmed, probably 20-25 minutes off of it to get there, so it doesn't land as impactful as I think it could have.
Okay. It's funny too because I don't think the movie is that long. I think it's almost 2 hours, like on the dot. I think my main issue is, I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of anything to describe it.
I just hate it. That's what you were gonna say. I just hate it.
Close. I just kind
Jesse
of was
Buckley, she's overrated. That's what you were gonna say.
a fantastic actress, but I was just kind of bored and I was kind of clocked out very early on.
No, that's what I'm saying. It takes a while to get moving, and
Yeah.
it doesn't really, at least for me, it just didn't really engage until it reached the point, like really grip me until it reached the point when, spoilers, but I
Yeah,
think
let's do
everybody- enough
spoilers.
people
Yeah.
have seen it. Spoiler warning. When his son dies, when their son dies,
Yeah.
passes away. And then the movie
Uh,
accelerates and kind of it kind of feels like the movie was building to that point. That's really what the film, what everybody wanted to film. It feels like all the setup was in service to get to that moment.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's after the sun dies. That's when it gets a little more exciting. Um, but what I remember experiencing when I was watching the movie was like I love the costumes, I love the sets, I love the performances. I on paper this movie was kind of made for people like us, but I don't know. I just wasn't really invested in what exactly was happening.
They're
And you
not
might think
like
I'm
us.
crazy. You might think I'm crazy, but and again, I don't like using movies being boring because that's not like a fair criticism. But like
I
when the
think
sun
it
was
is.
dying, yeah,
I
for
think
some,
it's
for
I
some,
think it's a very fair criticism. I think it's the worst. I know there are people, including you, who probably disagree with me on this, but I think it's the worst sin a movie can make is be boring.
yeah, I think my main thing was like when the sun was dying. I remember like thinking like I should be feeling upset, but I'm not quite getting the emotion that they want me to feel. And my have you ever seen Nomadland? Did you ever see that? Her last
No,
movie
no,
before.
on the list, but have not.
My issue with this movie was the same that I had with Nomadland, and to be honest, not my words, but I think it really kind of paints the picture of like how I feel about it. It has like a great foundation, but I feel like it doesn't really build on that foundation. At least for me, it's almost like the movie's too poetic because it's kind of it's very
It's
artsy
based on a poet.
fartsy. I yeah, I guess a poet, playwright, but and I really want to like it because I'm like, this is a cool idea, like Shakespeare creating the story of Hamlet, which is presumably a true story. It sounds like.
It sounds like it's definitely a lot of it's more historical fiction. I don't even know. Actually, fiction isn't the right word. Speculation, because there's very limited recorded history
Hmm.
of Shakespeare's personal life. So I forget what it was. I think it's something related to his wife Agnes, both in the movie, and I think her real name was slightly different, but
It's
they
Anne
they
Hathaway,
basically took, yeah, that's right, Anne Hathaway. There's a
yeah, which is
reason
kind
they
of funny.
changed it. There's a reason they changed it, and it's because they took that basically, and I think something related to one of his children died, and basically just built off of that. So it's kind of historical speculation. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's fiction because we just don't know if that is pretty accurate to what happened or not. So
Hmm.
yeah, a historical speculation, I'd say.
I wonder if do you know the story of Hamnet or sorry Hamlet? Because I went into this movie actually not knowing a whole lot
Yeah,
of.
and let's be honest here. Hamnet is way harder to say than Hamlet and unnecessary. If they changed Anne Hathaway's name to Agnes, why couldn't they just change Hamnet to Hamlet? Like,
Well,
come
the
on.
movie starts. The movie starts off with like a quote almost saying that a ton of scholars kind of discovered that Hamnet and Hamlet were the same name. So that's kind of a cool
Interchangeable.
little.
No,
Yeah.
I know. I'm just messing with you. Like, I know why they did it. Plus, if you make a movie called Hamlet, everybody's expecting it to be
Ah,
Hamlet.
I didn't think
You
about
know,
that. That's a good
so
point.
I know why they did it, and
I.
it's in the book. I should say it's not the movie that did that. The movie is based on a book,
Mhm.
which is called Hamnet. So the movie's just lifting the title from the book. So, which obviously, even more so, you're not going to write a book and call it Hamlet. you know.
Uh, I feel like we're talking about because I kind of expressed that I wasn't necessarily like the biggest fan of it, but I mean, I saw your Letterboxd review and you seem to enjoy it quite a bit.
No, the honestly the conclusion, or kind of the climax and conclusion, it really brought it home for me. I liked it. I liked the dynamic of Shakespeare and Agnes. Like, I liked their chemistry, Paul Mescal and Jesse Buckley's, and I bought into their family dynamic as well, and I felt like it did just enough to like get me really invested to where it hit hard at the end. and when movies nail the conclusion, that usually really that influences at least a full star for me. You know,
Okay, sure.
like whether it nails the conclusion or not. And I thought it nailed the conclusion of it. It's just it was took a little bit longer to get there than I prefer. You know, I mean, reading my Letterboxd review, I critiqued it. My Letterboxd review was
Yes,
a
you did.
critique.
Would you like to?
And it was really, to be shorter in length or not to be. That is the question.
Wow.
You know, just call me Shakespeare Jr. over here. You know,
Sure, why not?
Anyway, so yeah, I think that reflected it. That's what held me back. I've definitely seen better paced movies, one we talked about earlier, and still nailed the conclusion. So this year, I'm talking specifically. So I liked it, but you know, like it's good, but it's one of those like it was made for the awards. I
It
think
feels like that, doesn't it?
to a degree, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, it's not bad. It's like it's
No.
very well done, but it does feel like okay, they it could have been better maybe if they were focused purely on the movie, and it feels like maybe some of their focus was on the potential
Yeah.
Oscar behind it all. So
Yeah. Um, unfortunately, I don't want
which again, like, and I should say, like, which again, like going back to Marty Supreme, if you've got the goods, then sure, you know,
Yeah.
go for it. More power to you. But this one has some of the goods, but not all the goods.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was like a lot of things I liked about the movie. Two scenes that stick out to me are, when the son Hamnet, it's like a little surreal scene where he's, passing away, going into the afterlife. He's looking up in
Yeah,
the sky.
there's a mild supernatural element
Yeah,
throughout.
there's a scene where he's like looking up in the sky and he's looking at the hawk that Jesse Buckley's character owned, basically her adult years. He's looking at the sky, looking at this hawk, and then it's kind of cut to Paul Mescal's character looking in the sky, looking at the hawk. It's almost like they were kind of doing the same thing the moment that the sun dies. I thought that was a really cool sequence of events.
Yeah,
The Jesse Buckley walking into I feel like there's a name for that theater, but the way when she's walking into it, I felt I was kind of on the edge of my seat because I'm like, this is really well done. Like this must be what it's like to, they didn't know at the time, but to like actually walk in to witness a Shakespeare play for the first time
yeah.
for a lot of
Well,
people,
not
I
just
thought
that,
that was
but
well done.
she's also going to basically confront her husband.
Yeah.
So
But I thought like the historical aspect of that was very well done.
yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, but I don't know. I just don't think Chloe Zhao was really for me because
Yeah,
the Eternals is like the exception.
she
I didn't like
she
that.
wasn't for Marvel, that's for sure.
No, I just can't really gel with her style of filmmaking, unfortunately.
Yeah,
It's just not me.
I get that. Did
Yeah.
one before we wrap up on Hamnet? One quick thing, the actor who played Hamlet in the play in the movie is the brother of the actor who plays Hamnet in the movie.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of
So
cool.
it just kind of adds like a cool little extra layer
Huh.
to it, and that he resembles kind of Hamnet, grown up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I
Yeah.
did not know that, but I do like that fact.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
cool. Anyway, so
Yeah.
final ratings, I give it an 8 of 10,
Okay.
barely, and you give it a
So you're closer to a 7 than an 8.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah, it's barely an 8.
So I'm at a 6, closer to a 5, honestly. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever I might watch it again someday, but
Ooh, yeah,
I mean, I'd rather watch for this Oscar season, I'd rather watch One Battle After Another again. I'd rather watch It Was Just an Accident again. This is kind of like low at my list. I The only reason why I want to watch it again is I felt like I might have missed something in my first watch, but as of right now, I'm just not really head over heels for it.
yep, totally fair. I don't think it's going to be a Best Picture contender.
You don't think
Um,
so? It sounds like
No,
it won
I
the Golden
don't.
Globe yesterday.
Oh, it did. Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
see. I only saw the one battle after another win, which
yeah.
made sense given the buzz that's had since it's been released. So yeah, I mean, maybe. Never mind. Maybe the Academy consistently gets it wrong. So who knows?
Yeah. I will
um,
say this. This will be one of those movies where I'll be a little upset that this wins over literally anything else.
oh, well, I agree 100%. There are so many other stronger contenders this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, let's see here. All right.
Oh, right.
Now I think we really get to the part of the program that everybody has been waiting for.
I am
Everyone.
sweating. I am
It's
sweating.
we're gonna talk about, you know, it's not the greatest movie in the world.
Mm.
It's not the second greatest movie in the world. However, it is without a doubt the third greatest movie of all time. I am, of course, talking about the third entry in the Avatar saga, Avatar Fire and Ash, directed by James Cameron,
Oh yeah,
where
baby.
the Na'vi face their greatest threat yet. Not only the vicious corporate human scumbags, but paired up with a rogue fire tribe of Na'vi. And
Scary.
man, let me just tell you, there's some fire and there's some ash.
But really, this movie was just farts and ass. I did not like this movie.
In my humble opinion, yes. I third greatest movie, sure, but it's also it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's a bad movie, and not only that, somehow it's also the worst of the Avatar movies, which none of them are
Easily.
that great.
Easily the worst
you
one.
know?
Easily the worst one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's where we disagree. I think the first one is good. I mean, actually, say that. I think it's like a 7 out of 10 movie. I thought Way of Water was entertaining to the point where I was like, I'm gonna get. I think I gave it like a 6 out of 10, maybe.
You did.
This one was
Which,
just
to
so
be fair,
forgettable.
I did too. I gave it a 6. I gave it a 6 of 10 too.
Yeah. So I guess we do disagree, but this is just so forgettable.
We disagree on the enjoyment. Yeah, so forgettable. And to that point, I'm looking at my notes here because honestly, so much of that movie I've already forgotten, and
Mhm.
it's only been a few weeks since I saw it. So it's like it's just it's nothing. I'll say this. So I fell asleep in Way of Water.
Oh, okay.
I fell asleep in Way of Water.
Mhm.
And I was getting over like a cold, so I was kind of under the weather. So felt like that made sense. I still think it was bad of the movie to get me to that point where I was that relaxed and bored to where I could feel comfortable falling asleep in the theater. Um, but this movie, which I watched at 3:45 p.m. in the afternoon, fully awake, had had a good night's sleep before, ready to go. This movie, I nearly fell asleep again. I was this close to falling asleep. I started to slump forward in my chair and stirred myself awake as a result of that. Which to me is the most damning indictment of a movie as possible. Which is it was so dumb and boring to me. I fell
You're
asleep. I almost fell asleep to it. I
you're
didn't
really roasting
completely.
it.
I didn't completely. I saved myself. I didn't
Mhm.
completely. I did stir. So it's not. It could have been worse if I had actually fallen asleep. That would have lost another star.
Okay.
But I did successfully rouse myself. Um, and with that said, the movie just is not good. It feels very repetitive, which I mean, all the avatars are, ripping off other films and franchises to one degree or another, but they all have
Yeah.
at least the world building that Cameron came up with to kind of hook you still.
Mhm.
But this one just felt, even with that, repetitive. Even with the Fire and Ash tribe, they didn't add as much visual flair as I expected.
Yeah.
It didn't feel very different. The goal of which I mean, makes sense within the context of the universe. The goal of the corporate guys is basically exactly the same as it was in Way of Water, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, I get why that's realistic in the story, but given nothing else in the franchise is realistic, why is this the thing that is that is actually feels grounded, and
Mhm.
the movie is worse off for it?
Yeah. I mean, the movie's called Fire and Ash, and they kind of, I mean, the another pattern is, the first Avatar is about, I guess, what, the air people, the tree people, whatever you want to call it. Second one, water people.
Yeah,
Third one, I feel like everyone went into this movie like, okay, are there going to be like lava animals that they're going to learn how to tame? Are they
yeah,
going to like
totally.
fight? Are they going to fight in a volcano?
Yeah,
That is like barely not in the
the
movie.
concept art had volcano, like early
Yeah,
concept art they released, so it kind of got everybody's expectations
but the
up.
thing is, it's just literally Way of Water Part Two. There's a lot of scenes that are repeated. In the end of Way of Water, they're on a boat fighting on a ship. This movie, same kind of set piece. And I will say this about the Avatar movies. I'm not gonna like bash too badly on like Disney, but well, any blockbuster really. As we're aware of, high budgeted movies as of late have looked cheaper and cheaper. Avatar is that one franchise where you could always be ensured that the CGI is gonna look awesome.
Honestly, I'm gonna disagree. I feel like I agree with the first two, yes, but
Oh, you're saying this one's worse? The
yeah, it felt a
it
little bit of a step down in terms of
Yeah,
the CGI.
exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh, my bad. I'm
I
sorry. I
no
stole your point.
no, I was gonna say, yeah, that it feels like it's the worst looking one. At the very least, I feel like what I could expect from James Cameron is he's gonna give it his all. Whether with it's I know he's never gonna make. His goal is to make a movie that's gonna appeal to basically everyone in the world, right? I mean, that's what the Avatar franchise is.
Yeah,
I
which I mean, for all the grief I give him, kudos to him for that, because
which
I
is
don't
like
think enough filmmakers do that.
that's like a feat in itself. But this one, compared to his other three movies and his whole career, really feels like he's just phoning it in now. And I don't know why that is. I
Well,
can't really.
have you listened to like some of the press interviews or read some of the interviews he's given on the press tour for three?
Mm-mm.
I mean, he really does sounds like he's kind of checking out to a degree. Like he said, he doesn't want to direct the next one. Um, he wants to turn it over to
Yeah,
somebody else. So I
I
mean,
did hear that.
he is getting older, so I'm sure that's part of it.
Yeah,
That he wants to take a step back, but it does definitely sounds like he's like at peace with it. This movie doesn't make enough to justify a sequel being greenlit. It definitely sounds like he's at peace with that, and even if it did, that he doesn't want to be as involved with it as he has been in the past. So I definitely think that maybe bled over a little bit in this one, and that didn't have the same, because I like remember in the build up to Way of Water, I mean, he had that movie obviously in development many years before it came out, was doing, cutting edge film stuff with just being able to film underwater and perform
hmm
some of the sequences. So you like had that hype of like, Avatar, the first one blew everybody out of the water in terms of like the 3D
yeah,
element to it. It just put everything else to shame. And then Way of Water, obviously still had that, but also had some great water sequences, just
yeah.
from the cinematography standpoint. But this one, it just, yeah, it felt kind of like more of the same. It didn't feel very unique, didn't feel very fresh. There wasn't anything that like really felt, I don't know if this is the right word to say, because it was definitely there was definitely spectacle, but it just didn't feel as impressive as some of
Yeah.
the other ones,
Well,
battles, climaxes.
I wonder if James Cameron's. I don't know if he like provided a reason why he's clocked out, but I mean, Avatar, the first one, was kind of a breaking film in many ways. Same with Way of the Water. I think maybe part of the reason why he's clocking out is because like, where else does he go from here? Like, what else could he possibly do? Like, where else could he take technology? It's all
Titanic Part 2.
I guess so. Oh, that'd be fun. Like bringing the boat back up or something.
Yeah, he read that it's an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Jack falls through. We think he died. Really, he just passed on to another dimension, leaving an
Exactly.
empty shell behind in our world. And he races against time to stop that dimension's Titanic from sinking.
Sounds like another $2 billion movie.
Oh,
Um,
big time.
the thing is,
That
James Cameron
movie, by the way,
is
that movie, just out of curiosity alone, if that was an actual movie, it would gross close to, if not over $1 billion for sure, just from the curiosity factor.
oh yeah. My parents would
Yeah.
be like, what the hell is this? I got to go watch this.
So James Cameron, if you're listening, make that movie.
The thing is, James Cameron is. I looked it up right now. He's 71 years old.
Yeah.
I would prefer for him to, as much as like I am always fascinated with a auteur kind of overtaking a franchise. Another example I can think about is like George Miller, Mad Max. I don't really want anyone else to touch Mad Max. As much as I am not, the biggest Avatar fan, I can't really see anyone else doing these projects besides James Cameron. But I would much rather. I do want to see what else he could do outside of Avatar before he retires. God forbid he dies soon, but he's an old guy. But like I do want to see.
That's so loud. He looks like he's in pretty good shape.
That's true. He is a vegetarian, I believe. He seems like he's a healthy guy. Very healthy.
Not much protein on those veggies.
That's true. We got beans for that. It's true. But yeah, this one just, I don't know. I remember one thing that you mentioned after the movie was like you don't remember a lot. I remember when I was watching the movie, I was entertained with all the set pieces. One that really stood out to me was when Atiri kind of breaks into, what do you want to call it, like the home base of the corporation to break out Jake. I remember that was fun, but after the movie, I can't really remember a whole lot of other set pieces, and that's kind of a shame because the whole movie is built around set pieces. Yeah.
Well, just give my spark notes because I don't want to bash it for too long.
Sure. I can't. If I was told to summarize the movie, I would not be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say just as an example of how consistently bad the dialogue is in these movies. Spider at one point when he, spoilers, successfully can breathe air on Pandora for the first time. He's like, I'm done with this whole breathing air thing. It's pretty cool, pretty badass. Great dialogue there. I really liked how they did drop an F-bomb in this movie, but it was with a random side character who I honestly, truly did not remember him from the second movie, but he was, in fact, in the second movie.
Was there an F-bomb? I don't remember that.
Yeah, felt like a waste of an F-bomb. See, you've already forgotten.
I was going to say, I don't remember a whole lot about the movie, so that's not really saying much.
Yeah, it was a big waste of an F-bomb. That's all I'll say. One thing also on the technical side, like I really felt like this one in particular, it got out of hand with his changes in frame rate to where it was distracting.
Yeah.
And it was like, just like, dude, commit to one or the other. I'm not going to freak out over it being a high frame rate, but commit to it,
Yeah.
So kind of felt a little whiplash. We already talked about how the Fire Tribe was kind of a letdown. But they did do something cool, which hadn't been done before. They did drugs. And
that was weird.
That the Na'vi can cut loose and have fun just like all of us. Yeah.
That was such a weird scene.
Yeah. It was fun. That was hilarious. Stephen Lang, who's in that scene, is still the best part of the franchise in that film. He's just such a wild character.
I think Una Chaplin is the best thing about the franchise right now. Whew. Okay.
A friend of ours would agree with you. Yeah.
Do you want to say his name, or should we respect it? Let's not say his name.
Or just say he's a star of the famous social media film Haunting of Hype House, available on YouTube now.
Does he have long hair?
Check it out. He might.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm sure I brought
definitely
him on.
has definitely has curly hair, but
Okay.
there's a couple of people with curly hair in that movie. So
Okay.
anyway, so yeah, one thing that struck me about the finale too was that they used that basically the big checkmate, so to speak, was them using a bunch of squids, and that turned the tide of the battle. These little mini squid creatures,
Yeah.
and that was just kind of bizarre to me. That it just like, wow, okay, so this is the big trump card that they have. But hey, you
Yeah.
can't argue with the results. They beat them.
Each one of these
Uh,
movies
yeah,
relies on introducing animals that are going to help at the climax, kind of fight the
yeah,
even bigger bad guy.
it's true.
Again, it's like they ran out of ideas, so they introduced the
Yeah,
squids because
yeah, big
you
time.
need to have that scene where the animals come and help. Um,
I'd also like to know. Speaking of the animals, how which I mean, I hesitate to say. I mean, they're still technically, I guess, animals, but the whales are demonstrated to like be basically like a fully intelligent race.
yeah.
I do want to know, given their lack of flexible limbs, how that one whale got piercings.
Was there piercings? I
Yeah,
didn't notice that.
yeah, it had a
Um,
nose.
I'm
Well,
glad you brought up the whales.
I shouldn't say piercing. I think it was a nose ring, but I mean the same thing
Funny.
applies. So
It was probably like one of the what are they called again? The avatars? What are they called?
the
Navis.
the
It was
Navi.
probably one of the Navis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. All right.
when you
Yeah.
the,
Maybe.
the whole so two things about the whales. That whole storyline was just the worst thing. I was just so clocked out whenever we returned to that. Secondly,
You
didn't
just
we?
ate whales.
Didn't what? Wasn't this explored in the second movie? Wasn't the main character whale thing rejected by his pod, and then it happens again in this movie, and then he has to convince him to.
No,
It's
but this time is even worse because this time he's responsible for the death of his brother, indirectly responsible
it's
for the
it's
death of his
just
brother. So, but no, I agree. It feels like such a retread
it's
of what came before.
the movie feels creatively bankrupt. There's like
Yeah,
no fresh ideas.
yeah.
It's I don't know. It's
And also, like, even not that this has ever been a strong suit of Avatar, but it felt more, I guess, stark in this one because it's supposedly a major part of the story. Is honestly there was nothing that made me really invested in that dynamic between the son and Sully, with the whole tension of him being indirectly responsible for his brother's death. I never really got invested in that, and
yeah. That
part
should
of
have
that
been
was because that character, the character who had died in the previous film, isn't even that memorable of a character to begin with. So,
so true.
that didn't help either.
That should have been the launching point for the whole story, which it kind of was, but they don't really do anything with it to the point where it makes because that would have got me invested if it did a little more with that, but it doesn't. They focus too much on the whales. They focus too much on Spider, who I think is also one of the worst characters. Just such a uninteresting character.
He's
Um,
terrible. He's terrible.
yeah. The exciting parts, I think you're right. It is what's that? What you said his name earlier? The bad guy,
Stephen Lang,
Stephen Lang. He probably is the best thing about these movies.
Quaritch is his character's name. Quaritch.
Quaritch, yeah, he's easily
Yeah.
the best thing about these movies.
Yeah, yeah, and that's because he feels like he's the only one who really gets what type of movies, and that like this isn't like a super serious drama.
Yeah,
This is just
he
pure fun.
he really hams it up, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, he honestly, I would never say it's on the same level, but Sean Penn's performance in One Battle After Another, I feel like was partially influenced by Stephen Lang's
Hmm.
performance in Avatar, just a little bit,
Are you joking?
partially.
Okay. I'm not sure if you said you were joking at first, but I mean, but you're right. You could just
I don't
tell.
know that it's similar. It's similar, similar style characters, but I don't actually. I doubt he actually was influenced by it.
there's always something mesmerizing about an actor who you could just tell is having fun on set. You know, Sean Penn
Yeah.
being an example, Stephen Lang being this example.
Willem Dafoe is probably the greatest living example today. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that man
Green
loves
Goblin.
everything he's doing.
Green
Yeah,
Goblin is probably
yeah,
the peak of that example, in my opinion.
yeah,
In
yeah, for
Spider-Man.
sure. Absolutely, absolutely. Cool.
Uh,
Well, what's your final rating?
I got to remind myself. I think because I might change it right now. Actually,
Can't lower it.
I gave it a 5, but after man, it's been like what 2 weeks in our discussion right now. I really can't remember anything about the movie. But beyond that too, the things I do remember hurt the movie in every way. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking honestly, now I'm thinking like a 3 or a 4.
I,
Maybe a
I
4.
think that's a little harsh. I'm keeping it at 5 of 10, but I get the sentiment.
Yeah. Just
I
have a
feel like
feeling.
a movie to get to, starting to get to 4, 3 down below. That movie is not just boring or bad. It also is just insulting to my intelligence. And I don't think Avatar has ever been like made for like deep thinkers in the sense that people like you want, this is a movie you go to really chew on deep themes, So
You don't think so? It makes you environmentally conscious.
I think
Conscious, like that's
that's what James Cameron wants.
James
He,
Cameron is
he's
modern
not
day Plato.
succeeding. He's not succeeding in that regard, but
No,
that's
he's
what he
not.
wants.
I think the reason why I'm giving it such a harsh rating now too is the franchise now feels creatively bankrupt, which I know is like something everyone's saying now, but
Yeah, it's
it
like, where do
it
they go
really
from here?
it really feels that way. Yeah, yeah. So 4 out of 10. I'm gonna give it that my final rating. It sounds like you give it a 5 out of 10.
I'm 5 of 10. I think I'll keep it. I might say, hey, if I watch it again, maybe I'll lower it. Lower it. My opinion could be changed, but I'll probably never watch it again.
No,
I
definitely
take
not.
it back. I could see myself watching it again under one condition: is whenever they finally say like this is the end or something. I could maybe like host like a fun Avatar marathon night just for the hell of it. I could see watching it again in that format, but
I'm
that
sure,
would be it.
not to sound like an alcoholic, but I'm sure there could be like a really fun drinking game to be had there. Whenever
every
animals.
time every time they mention Awa.
Okay, sure. Do we have to wrap it up soon, or can we like talk for maybe like 5 more minutes? I was just gonna say like, what movies are you excited for they haven't seen yet?
Yeah,
And
we,
just
we
like,
can do a quick sneak preview, 5 minutes. Like in terms of movies upcoming or movies that are out and I haven't seen yet.
I guess both. I guess like for me, example, something that's super high on my watch list is Surratt. If I'm saying it right, it's that you don't know what I'm talking about? Surratt. It's it's being discussed to be like one of the best foreign film nominees. But it's fascinating. It's about a father and son who basically chase ravers. Like music
I
raving.
take it back. I take it back. I did see the trailer for that just the other
Yeah,
day. That does
that
look interesting. Yeah,
yeah. I really want to see that. I just haven't had a chance to because it's not playing anywhere near
yeah.
me.
I think it'll be it. The trailer I was seeing it for was the Neon distribution announcement
Mhm.
trailer. So I think it's coming in next month or the end of this month. So
Oh, is that okay? I didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. It's not that far off.
Okay.
So yeah, no, that looks good. I'm going to go see actually tonight after we conclude our recording. No Other Choice, which is also being talked up as one of the top foreign film contenders this year, made by
Mhm.
the director of Old Boy. Also looks like a good movie. It also
Yeah.
stars a famous actor, most famous for playing Storm Shadow in GI Joe.
I had no idea where you're going with that, but okay.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That is high on my list too.
Yeah.
I do want to watch both of Richard Linklater's movies that came out this year, Nouvelle Vogue and Blue Moon, but those
Yeah,
movies, I
I
don't think.
honestly, I don't know if I'll get around to those. They aren't grabbing me, and there's so many others, but never know. Maybe.
I, I have my issue is like I really have to be in the mood to watch those to like
Mm.
actually sit down and invest time in it. Um, I guess upcoming movies this year. I mean, there's a lot. We could like definitely make an episode about it, but Odyssey, Dune Part 3, Doomsday. I'm actually kind of excited for. I want to see what happens
We
there.
we should probably we should probably do a full sneak preview at the beginning of or end of next episode.
Yeah, New Year's
Yeah.
something.
So what's our next movie gonna be, Jose? Let's give the audience a preview of the next
Yeah,
podcast. I think we need to continue kind of finishing up our thoughts on the awards contenders.
yeah. It'll be nice to get those mentioned before they actually do the nominees. But I think,
True, and
I mean, sentimental value
we will
is
be recording live. You heard it here first, folks. We will be recording live at the Oscars and giving our thoughts and commentary on the evening's festivities and
yeah.
awards.
Popcorns and Pictures podcast got invited to be at the Oscars. We did it.
Hmm.
We're
It's
in.
true. We're in. They respect
Um,
us to that level.
no promises, but I think. I mean, it sounds like we're going to talk about sentimental value, but if you could see Jay Kelly before then, that'll be a really interesting comparison
Tell you
of
what,
movies.
folks, go ahead, comment, tell us which one we should review: Sentimental Value or Jay Kelly. Comment in the post for this episode and let us know which one you think we should see.
Yeah,
And I think with that we should probably wrap it up. Yeah,
let's wrap it up. How
yeah.
do we do that? Just goodbye.
Until next time,
There you go.
or should I say, to be continued.
There you go.
This has been another episode of Popcorn and Pictures with I, your host, Sam Karpinski, and your co-host, Jose Mendoza.
Mm, 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 mm.